So today I'm talking about the death penalty. As for me, my personal belief of the death penalty, it's torn. Like, it depends for me. It's like the situation and the person itself that committed the crime. For me, I am a big advocate for children. I love kids. And so therefore anything that has to do with hurting a child or harming a child, or even an older person as well, because they're too, I think they, should execute them. Or if you have no remorse for the crime that you committed, you should be executed. But also, I also have a softened heart for people that are on death row that may not have committed the crime, and that's where my topic is going today, is to the Innocence Project, which is an organization that helps exonerate fellow inmates that are on death row for crimes they did not commit. And the one person I'm going to talk about today, his name is Micheal Greene. It did not say his age on the website. I'm kind of curious how old he is myself. The picture on the website, he looks very young. He was convicted he was charged with rape and robbery. And his conviction was for rape and aggravated robbery. He served 13 years on death row before he was exonerated from the charges. So I'm going to read a little bit of a synopsis of what happened. So June 22nd, 1988, Micheal Greene was indicted by a grand jury of, just Ohio, because the county I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. For one count of rape and one count of aggravated robbery. A jury trial commenced on October 13th, 1988, and on October 21st, 1980, Greene was found guilty on both accounts. The conviction was based also exclusively on the eyewitness identification made by the victim. And on October 21st, 1988, the trial court sentenced Greene to consecutive prison terms of 10 to 25 years for the rape offense and 10 to 25 years for the aggravated robbery offense. So pretty much he was serving between 20 to 50 years for a crime that later on he was exonerated for. A little more detail of the crime. Lady was pretty much sitting in her home, and black male, as she's described, came into her house. First, he robbed her. Mind you, this is an elderly woman. So, older lady at home alone, but a black male entered her home, robbed her at first, then told her to get undressed, walked out, then said, "Oh, I'm gonna rape you now," and then turned around and said, "Take your clothes off again," because she put her clothes back on, because he told her to put her clothes back on. Told her to take her clothes back off, and then raped her. And then wiped himself off with a face towel that was in her bathroom and left that on the crime scene and left. The victim testified at the trial. The perpetrator said his name was Tony during the attack. So that was red flag number one for me. My client's name is Micheal, not Tony. So that was red flag for me, as in that's not adding up already. But continue on. The victim's initial description of the assailant was an African American male around 23 years of age, 5'8", 165 pounds, medium build, brown eyes, black short afro, pocket marked face with pimples, wearing a black ski cap, type hat, and a do-rag, kind of what we call, a black t-shirt with cut-off sleeves and gray pleated pants. So that would probably during this time, that probably fits any male, black African American male, because that's probably the trend at that time. Like I said, he robbed her, raped her. She called 911. So later on, the cops came in, and it was a few days after her attack, and the victim was shown a photo array which depicted young African American males that included Greene's picture, because he worked for work identification for photograph. Worked at the Cleveland Clinic. So another red flag for me, again in this case. They showed her the picture, the lineup of pictures first time from the clinic, Cleveland Clinic that he worked. They showed just just those people that worked there first, which was his picture. Then they showed her again a few weeks later, the same like a different assortment of people, but his picture was back in it again. So to me, I feel like they were baiting her and making her kind of pick him, because when you see, so the victim stated she saw one person that resembled her attacker, but she didn't know their attacker at first. So that was the first time they did this. Then they came at her again and did it again, and then this time that's when she identified Micheal Greene as the suspect. So I don't understand how you go from not knowing who your attacker is, because all of them look like your attacker, to now automatically picking the same guy from the same lineup from the same picture from the second time around. Once again, I feel like the cops baited her into picking that picture just to solve the case. Pretty much it says that his picture was the only one that was shown twice, which pretty much matched with the height, the weight, and the age of the attacker that she described. So that was red flag number 2 for me. The third red flag was the donor of the seminal fluid was type B secretor, included Greene as a source of seminal fluid through serological testing that could not allow him to be separated from the victim's profile from assailants. That's red flag number 3. So you didn't even do DNA testing. You did like a semen testing that has both the victims and the supposed defendants on it. You can't separate them both. So therefore, they both have the same, it was pretty much like blood typing. Same blood type. So therefore, that was red flag number 3 to me. You just can't convict someone off of blood typing. Everybody got same blood typing. Well, not everybody has same blood typing, but certain people have same blood types. Therefore, of course, they're gonna be together, and of course, it's gonna match to hers on the washcloth because it's hers. So that was red flag number 3 for me. After he was convicted, Micheal Greene's father is the one that came forth, named Robert Mendel, came forth and asked for the Innocence Project to look into DNA testing for their son to figure out if he committed the crime or not.
That's a good question.
So pretty much May 22nd, 2001, Judge Anthony O. Calabasas Jr. granted Greene's motion for stipulation for release of evidence for purpose of scientific testing. So pretty much, thank goodness to this judge for allowing his DNA to be tested for matching the rape kit. So the DNA from the spermatozoa recovery from this 5 areas eliminated Micheal Greene as the source of the spermatozoa found on the washcloth. So pretty much, therefore, folks, he did not commit the crime because of DNA testing. Anthony Micheal Greene was released on October 9, 2001 and exonerated based on the post-conviction DNA test results on October 18, 2001. He was wrongfully incarcerated for 13 years. And this story, reading it, saddens me. Because I feel like our justice system is set up, I feel like it should be set up to search for the person that actually committed this crime instead of trying to rush and solve the case just to get it over with and just blame anyone or everyone. I feel like you should do all this testing because this is someone's life. What if they didn't find out that he did commit this crime and after the fact they murdered him? And that's why I'm also really torn between the death penalty, because some people actually did not commit the crime that have been executed and found out years later that they never done what they did. And so to me, I feel like our justice system needs to get more organized, and they need to test, and they need to retest. They need to not say hound eyewitnesses and, traumatize the victims more, but I feel like really go the extra mile and make sure this is the person you're really committing to this crime, because death is something you can't play with. Once you're gone, you're gone. You can't come back. And that's all I have to say.